morning, everyone. We are the crisis management team, and I am Wendy. This is Sandi, Wang, and Ross. Our study examines the use of social media for a corporation during crisis. Now, as everybody knows, social media is being widely used by people to disseminating information. And according to the Nielsen report in 2011, statistics show that sites such as Facebook and Twitter take about 23% amount of time that's spent online. And also, when bad news happens, people are now more frequently turning into social media as well. So what is the best use of social media during a crisis for a crisis manager? So is that to directly engage with the public online or just to remain silent? Which one is better? That was what we were looking at in our study. And the theory that we used in our study was the situational crisis communication theory proposed by Coombs in 2007. He argued that by understanding the crisis situation, the crisis manager can be surely determine which response strategy will minimize the reputation threat. And in addition, it is not enough for those crisis managers to only take a look at traditional media. According to Linhart et al.'s research, their research showed that 47% of American adults use at least one form of social media. And for those social media users, 92% of them have Facebook account. So it is a belief that social media can realize a more participative two-way communication in people's daily lives. And previous research conducted by Yang and us suggested that an open dialogic communication is crucial in creating positive perceptions. And a proactive crisis management plans with consistent messaging would benefit the relationship with the public. Last but not the least, Cree and Tonal in 2012 argued that a company in crisis should also consider the impact that the crisis has on its stakeholders and revise its communication strategy accordingly, which reinforced the situational crisis communication theory. So next, Sandi will talk about our method and sample.
Our project was a quasi-experiment with post-test only with a control group. We used a convenient sample of undergraduate and graduate students from the University of Georgia because studies show that college students have very high social media use and are online a lot. But because we used a convenient sample, our results cannot be generalized. We did, however, control for inter-participant bias and sensitization, and because we allowed them to do the experiment online, it allowed a natural setting, and so that reduced the chances of their results being influenced. The mean age of our participants was 20.82 years old, and they ranged in age from 18 to 52. We don't know where that 52 came from. Our N size was a total of 201, and our project was conducted in October 2012 and was IRB approved. We did use Qualtrics, which is an online program available through Grady College, and we emailed participants a link to the study. And once they got there, participants were all exposed to a fictitious CNN article, and this is where we faked our controversy. We created a pet food company called Canine Kibble, and they didn't follow federal safety standards, and a bunch of dogs died and were sick, and so now they're having to do a recall. The participants were then randomly assigned to either a control group or one of 3 experimental cells. The control group only saw the CNN article. If you were randomly assigned to one of the manipulation cells, you saw one of 3 Facebook screenshots where we manipulated the independent variable, which was the organizational crisis response. And there were 3 possible crisis responses. There was no response where Canine Kibble just ignored it completely, just pretended it didn't happen. There was a generic response where people were commenting on their Facebook wall, and they just kept repeating a single generic statement about it but didn't really address anything. And then there was a direct response where if someone commented on their wall about it, they went in and say, hey, you specifically were doing this. All participants completed the post-test, which consisted of 2 scales. The organizational reputation scale was 10 items on a 5-point Likert scale. The public relations relationship outcome scale was 25 items on a 5-point Likert scale. We also asked for demographics information and about their Facebook usage. And then we conducted a manipulation check to confirm that they understood the organizational response that they were given, and that was deemed successful. We all then debriefed them on the fiction of the company and the controversy. Wynn is going to discuss our results.
Okay, for our data analysis, we have 2 scales are used. The first one is organizational public relationship outcome scale, which is a 25 items on 5-point Likert scale. And another one
social media response is the best for an organization in dealing with a crisis situation in order to protect the reputation. Overall, we found that engaging directly with the public is the best option. But interestingly, we also found that the organization can do more damage to its reputation by issuing an insincere statement than by totally ignoring the crisis. So we found that our direct response rated higher in all factors that showed a significant statistical difference in the mean score. In the conversational human voice factor, it scored 1.22 higher than the generic response. In the responsibility factor, it scored 0.522 higher than the generic response. And in the relational commitment factor, it scored 1.2 higher than the response. And in the conversational human voice factor, probably our most interesting finding, we found a statistically significant advantage for no response over the no response. And what this shows to us is that a canned response that seeks to minimize potential future damage can actually harm an organization's reputation. Social media is a rich resource for public relations, as well as engaging with stakeholders. And we find that organizations that understand this will benefit from it. But our research did have limitations that we hope will be addressed in the future. For example, we used to continue samples and we remotely at college experience. And we'd like to see whether these results can be replicated in more broad samples of the population. We'd like to test different PR strategies so we can compare more strategies to see what really works. We'd like to try with different social media outlets other than just Facebook. We use dogs to organize. We'd like to see whether we get similar responses if we use humans or sites. And we'd like to test whether